Well, Craig Alexander joins us for the launch of Ironman Melbourne, the Urban Hotel Group. Ironman Melbourne, the Asia Pacific champion. Mate, first of all, are we going to be right childbirth-wise? That's the first question. Is your beautiful wife Neri's about to give birth? How's it all going? We are in the lockdown stage.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Obviously, the baby's due a week before the race, but who knows with these things? So, yeah, I might not be on the start line. Obviously, if there's any complications or the bub hasn't come, I won't be making the trip down. But yeah, I'm just training and preparing as if I'm racing. So, yeah, the timing's not perfect, but who knows? I mean, I think it'll work out well. Like I say, you can't plan for these things, but you know, knowing that my wife, the way she is, she's totally over it at the moment. So I'm tipping sooner rather than later.
And let's rewind to October last year. Of course, Kona, the campaign was not what you wanted. What the decision for you this year? What's it going to be? Heading back there, is it all roads leading back to that? And what do you learn from a race like that?
Well, what you learn is what you always knew. It's, you know, I think when you go to that race with a record like I've had, people just presume you roll out of bed and end up on the podium. It's a lot of hard work against a lot of great athletes, and sometimes the preparation's not perfect. And, you know, sometimes part of my job is the business side, and you know, if there's one thing I probably didn't do as well last year as I have in the past, it's control that side of things. And it seemed like, you know, on the odd occasion sessions would get missed and things would get missed to do the promotional side, and I've never allowed that to happen before. And that falls to me. That's all on me. No excuses. It's, you know, it's not like a pop quiz in school where you walk in and they saddle you with this exam. We all knew 12 months in advance the date of the race, and part of being a professional is being ready on that day. And I wasn't as ready as I could have been. So that's something that I'm going to have to live with. And I mean, going forward to this year, I don't feel it's like redemption or it's just I love to race, and so long as what I'm doing doesn't negatively impact on Neri and the kids, and I have Neri's support, then I'll continue to race. So, you know, after a race like last October, where I still finished 12th, you know, I had to walk a lot of the marathon, and you know, I battled on and I got a 12th place finish at a world title. Not obviously what I was hoping for, but you let the dust settle on that, and then we looked forward to this year and planned. And I mean, if I'm going to race at the highest level, well, there's no higher level than races like Melbourne and Kona. So absolutely, I plan to be at both. So, you know, I don't see the point in training and putting in the hours to race backwater races. If I'm racing, I want to race the best people, and I'll go to the biggest races.
Phenomenally good race from you last year. Of course, you broke the 8-hour barrier and, you know, set a benchmark for this event. What's the form like coming into this year? Obviously, the indicators are there that you've had from last year. Do you think you're in that sort of form? And I guess the weather, everything conspiring last year was great, but where are you now?
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar place. I actually think this year the preparation's probably been less interrupted. Obviously, I'm not riding a book this year. I'm not coming off 2 World Championship victories as I was 12 months ago. So there's been less travel, less demands. Probably haven't done the volume of work that I'd done last year, but I'm a year older and I don't need to. So I haven't had a race since Kona, but that's similar to last year as well. Melbourne was my first race since Kona the year before. So I feel I'm on track. You know, we're a month out. I've done a good volume of work at a very good intensity, and more than anything, I'm happy to be training and really enjoying things at the moment, and looking forward to 4 weeks down here. You know, I had a great experience here last year. I just think it was one of those races where everything came together, not only the weather for the times, but just the way it looked on TV. I know certainly when I travelled to the US, there was a lot of buzz around this race, people wanting to know about this race. And I know when I was back in the US in December, Jordan Rapp's manager came up and had a chat to me, and I said, yeah, Jordan should come down to race, and he's coming down. I mean, I think you're getting a lot of the big names coming down. We've got the 3 reigning regional champions, obviously myself, Jordan, who's the US Pro champ, and Marino, who's the European champion, having won Frankfurt. So once again, it's going to be a cracker field. Throw in all the local boys, too many to mention, but you know, a lot of depth there. And as far as times go, well, if the conditions, you know, behave, then yeah, you could see anything.
One last one before we let you go. The idea of the Australian racing circuit's really picked up, hasn't it? The 70.3 circuit's alive and well. You mentioned that we've got four Ironman races here in Australia, not to mention the regional championship, the Asia Pacific Championship here. In your experience, have you seen triathlon in Australia in better shape in terms of pros being able to come here and actually make a little bit of money and get their careers started?
Not for a long time. Not since the glory days of the Formula One series and the national series that we had, where you'd get all the biggest names from Australia racing here, as well as you'd get, Hamish and Bevan and Craig Watson and the boys from New Zealand racing. You'd get all the internationals who were training in Australia, such as Simon Whitfield and Jan Rahula and Andrew Johns would race. And a lot of those national series races we used to do 10 or 15 years ago were like World Cup races, probably harder to win a lot of times. And I think, as you mentioned, all those races now, obviously we've just had the Urban Hotel race in Geelong. You had the Asia Pacific 70.3 champs in Auckland. I think the scene is very healthy, and you need that to bring through great performances in the next generation. I think we've seen with Chris Kemp, obviously Belly, who he's not one of the new names, but he was up there, and you're seeing a lot of I think it's a good breeding ground where it's a pathway to the major races. So it's good to see the scene picking up here and some major races on the international sort of landscape being held in this area, and particularly in our country so early in the year. And I think, I don't think there's ever been a shortage of great talent coming from this area, maybe just a shortage of great places or great platforms for them to show their abilities.
Well, mate, looking forward to seeing your work in Melbourne in a month's time, and good luck with the home life, and good luck with Melbourne as well.
Hey, thanks, Phil. Thank you.